Good day. My name is Hanli now, and I'm a proud Bright Star facilitator. One day, a precious young girl who was driving to our home with her parents asked, "Are Hanli and Pita my people, or are they your people?" Her mom was puzzled and asked, "Why can't they be our people?" Andrea spent a brief moment in deep thought and boldly declared, "No, they are my people." What a huge compliment. C.S. Lewis once wrote about the inner ring, that universal hunger to be inside rather than outside, to finally be part of the group that matters. But here's the catch. If you are chasing the inner ring just to get in, you'll never arrive. You'll never actually arrive. There's always another, more exclusive inner ring waiting. Lewis understood something crucial. There's a difference between fitting in and truly belonging. That's what I want to talk about today. Fitting in versus belonging. Alex Snyder, drawing on Brene Brown's work, puts it simply. When we belong, we are valued for who we really are, not just tolerated because we've learned to play the role. Let me be clear. Belonging means being seen, known, and valued as yourself, where your unique contribution actually matters. But fitting in says, change yourself to match what we want. Belonging says, show up as you are, with your gifts, your perspective, even your quirks, because that's what we need. Fitting in is therefore conditional and exhausting. Belonging is secure and energizing. Think about the movie How to Train Your Dragon. Oh, I love that movie. Hiccup desperately tries to fit in with his Viking village. He's clumsy and he keeps trying to kill dragons like everyone else. But he only makes things worse. When he finally succeeds in dragon training, he gets accepted. But it's hollow. The other Vikings swarm around him like he's a celebrity. But he's not actually one of them. He's fitting in, not belonging. The real transformation happens at the end when the village sees what Hiccup can do by befriending dragons rather than killing them. His father tells him, "We need more of this," gesturing to all of him, not just the parts that conform. That's belonging. And notice, Hiccup doesn't just conform to the village. His belonging actually changes the village for the better. This isn't just a movie plot. Jesus lived this. Think about the woman at the well in John 4. She came to draw water at noon, the hottest part of the day, because she was an outcast trying to avoid other women. Jesus didn't just see her, he knew her past, her pain, her search for something real. And here's what matters. He connected first, then corrected. He offered her living water before addressing her life. But we didn't stop at acceptance. He didn't stop at acceptance. He called her to something higher. Go and sin no more, he says elsewhere in John's Gospel. True belonging in Jesus means something being fully known and being called to obedience. He doesn't ask us to clean up before we come, but he also doesn't leave us unchanged. The woman ran back to her village transformed, not because she finally fit religious expectations, but because genuine encounter with Jesus both accepted her and called her forward. That's the kind of belonging Jesus modeled, one that says, come as you are, and then follow me in obedience. In His love, we find both grace and accountability. So what creates this kind of belonging in real life? Brown and Snyder call it relational leadership. Leadership that pairs accountability with care. It's not soft on standards, but it communicates clearly. You matter even when I'm correcting you. As Brown puts it, being a brave leader means being a loving human first. Psychiatrist Dan Siegel has a phrase for why this matters. We need to feel felt. Isn't that beautiful? We need to feel felt. We need someone to truly see what we're going through and show up for us. That's not optional. It's how humans learn to trust, take risks, and bring their best. So if you want to build belonging where you are, as a leader, a teammate, a friend, or a parent, here are 4 moves you can start today. 1, move from regret to repair. When you hurt someone, don't hide it. Say, I'm sorry. Let me try again. Because you see, vulnerability builds trust faster than pretending nothing happened. 2, move from recognition to real appreciation. Don't stop at good job. Say why their work mattered or how their unique way of being changed things. People who are named belong. And number 3, move from packed agendas to built-in buffers. Make space for actual connection. Take 2 minutes to check in on how someone's really doing. Those 2 minutes aren't wasted. They are essential. And number 4, the last one, move from episodic to routine. You see, belonging isn't built in one big event. It's the daily gestures, noticing, inviting, naming someone's gift. Small, steady acts create the strong ground that holds people together. Here's what this looks like in practice. Fitting in asks us to conform, but belonging lets us contribute. Hiccup didn't just conform to his village's ways when he truly belonged. His unique gifts actually transformed how the entire village lived. The same is true everywhere. In workplaces, classrooms, churches, and homes. Belonging gives people stability. When things are uncertain, and it unleashes their best ideas, not just what their job description requires, but what they uniquely have to offer. So here's my challenge. Pick one of those moves and do it this week. If you're a leader, practice prepare. If you're a teammate, name someone's unique contribution. And if you're running a meeting, put 2 minutes of real check-in on the agenda. These aren't sentimental gestures. They're practical disciplines of courage and care. I'll close with the invitation Brene Brown and Alex Snyder offer us. Let's choose to be brave leaders and loving humans. Let's create places where people don't just show up, but they belong. And when that happens, we don't just survive change, we become the change that strengthens everyone around us. Thank you for listening.